This is one of the most interesting looking pair of earbuds in the world, aka the Nothing Air 3s. Now, these earbuds were sent to me by the Nothing company itself, and they wanted me to test it and put it through its paces like I always do. So in this video, we're gonna be doing just that. And we're gonna talk about everything that has to do with the Nothing Air 3s, from its unique transparent design, to how good it sounds with its 24-bit high-res LDAC audio, to noise canceling and transparency, of course, and also to the extra features it has, as well as everything else you need to know about the Nothing Air 3 earbuds in general. But to start with, we're going to talk about what the Nothing company themselves would say is the Air 3's standout feature. And what I'm talking about, surprisingly, are the microphones. Or rather, the super microphones. Long story short, in case you don't know, and for the first time on any pair of earbuds I've ever tested, the case of these earbuds have microphones in them. And apart from the button you press and hold to pair the Nothing earbuds, there's also another button, a bigger button, that you press to talk to the earbuds, or to the earbuds case, or through the earbuds case even. Let me explain. So first, whenever you push and hold the talk button, the microphones activate immediately. This green line turns on to let you know that, and if your device supports it, you'll immediately be in a conversation with your AI virtual assistant. And if you're on a phone call, you can switch from the mics in your earbuds themselves to the super mics on the case. And the reason you might want to do this is because the mics on the case aren't ordinary microphones. The case has two MEMS microphones with beamforming technology, which is supposed to help lock onto your voice and record clear audio and tune out any unwanted noise no matter where you are. So before we get into how useful and interesting these super mics are, and how I think the Nothing company might be secretly trying to compete against the brand new generation of devices coming out, well, first, just how good are these MEMS beamforming super microphones themselves? Well, why don't you hear it for yourself? As you can see, I'm using the microphones on the Nothing Air 3 Super Mics to talk to you right now. So this is how it sounds. And you can press and hold the talk button right here to use the Super Mics, but you can also double tap the button to have the green light stay on and have the mic stay activated without needing to press and hold it. And that's what I'm doing right now. Now, I've listened to some voice recordings that I've made using the Nothing Air 3 Super Mics, and I have to say, they sound very, very good, especially for earbuds. Honestly, I think they might be one of the best sounding earbud microphones I've ever heard. If you're considering these to be proper earbuds, you know? And they also do a great job of canceling a lot of the sound, like a lot of the noise and the unwanted sound. It really tries to focus on your voice completely, you know? Like, hello, hello, hello. Yeah. Now, as far as the microphones on the actual earbuds themselves, well, you can always press the talk button again right here to switch the green light off and to switch to the actual microphones and the earbuds themselves. And as far as how they perform, well, I've listened to some voice recordings I took with them, and they're not the absolute best out there, but they're not the worst either, you know. But what I'll say is they're definitely not as good as the super microphones on the case right here. And you can hear it for yourself right now. We're now using the super microphones to talk to you, and this is how they sound. Okay, so yeah, that's about that for the actual microphone performance of the super microphones and the non-super microphones. Now, let's get into what I was saying before about what I believe the Nothing company might be really trying to do here that will make these earbuds different from basically every other pair of earbuds ever made so far. And that's the fact that, in a way, these aren't really earbuds per se, but it's actually a brand new kind of smart device. I mean, think about it. These super mics were made specifically for capturing the human voice clearly in any situation, right? As you heard. And when you press the talk button, you immediately trigger the AI assistant connected to your device, right? So, well, basically, just because of these two things alone, the Nothing Air 3s are capable of doing a crap ton of useful and interesting stuff, even if it technically shouldn't be able to and doesn't actually have the feature in question. For example, the Nothing Air 3s don't have the live AI translation feature, right? But still, when you wake up in the morning, you can press and hold the talk button and ask the Nothing case, "Where's the nearest taco spot? I want to walk there."
The only option I found is El Taco Spot on Flag Lake Drive in Lake Jackson. Do you want that one?
And after you get there and you realize the lady serving the food doesn't speak a lick of English, well, you can press and hold the talk button and ask the nothing case to help you translate. And you can point the super mics at the Spanish lady, finally understand what she's saying, and finally make your order. Oh, no cheese, no queso. Yes, sí, gracias. Gracias, amigo.
No, amigo, no, amiga, ¿eh?
Long story short, the Nothing Air 3s and its super mics have a lot of potential in this physical AI device market. More so than just about all normal earbuds being made right now. But with that being said, that's about it for the super microphones and the non-super microphones on the Nothing Air 3 earbuds. Now, let's talk about one of the most important things when it comes to not physical AI devices, but just normal earbuds. And what I'm talking about, of course, is sound quality. As far as sound quality goes, the Nothing Air 3s are good, especially for mid-range earbuds that cost less than $200. But unsurprisingly, they're not the best earbuds I've ever listened to. Long story short, even though they're mixed pretty well, better than most earbuds actually, I can still just tell that the sound drivers on here are not on the same level as the sound drivers on some of the flagship earbuds that I've tested. A great thing about the Nothing Air 3s though, when it comes to sound quality, is the Nothing X app. With the Nothing X app, you can change your EQ settings in the most advanced way that I've ever seen before. Now, you can still pick some simple presets, but if you know what you're doing, you can really customize this to your exact liking. And you can create some interesting sound profiles as well. And speaking of sound profiles, well, with the Nothing X app, you can also create your own personal sound profile. And you don't need to know anything to do this. You just press a button and the Nothing app will play some sounds in both of your ears to take some tests of exactly what you're able to hear. And just like that, you have your own personal sound profile. Now, to be honest, I didn't really use this because I know how to set EQ settings myself. And I also think that the Nothing Air 3s come out the box mixed pretty well, pretty decently. In fact, funny enough, one of the things I actually use is the bass enhancement feature that you also get with these earbuds. Now, I know I could just increase the bass with the EQ settings, but there's something about the bass enhancement thing that Nothing has done that messes with the bass a little differently. It really does make some songs sound better. Basically, long story short, when it comes to sound quality overall, the Nothing Air 3s are pretty decent earbuds. But when you account for the extra features they give you when it comes to sound quality alone, well, I haven't really tested too many mid-range earbuds, but I'd imagine that this is one of the best sounding ones out there. Now, when it comes to another important area for earbuds, aka noise canceling, well, things are almost the exact same way here. Long story short, the Nothing Air 3s cancel a decent bit of noise, and it can really help isolate you from your environment. But they don't cancel as much noise as the amount of noise you have canceled if you bought some of the best flagship earbuds today. I'll say the Nothing earbuds are about 70% there. Now, something cool about them though is that you can go into the Nothing X app and you can actually reduce the level of noise cancellation if you're one of those that doesn't really like too much noise canceled and you don't like the earbuds that only give you the option of the highest noise canceling or no noise canceling at all. So I guess this is cool, but all in all, noise canceling is just pretty good on the Nothing Air 3s. They're around the same level or better than most mid-range earbuds out there, but they're not quite as good and they don't cancel as much noise as the best flagship earbuds in the world right now. Now, as far as how to perform in the category opposite of noise canceling, aka transparency, well, the Nothing Air 3 earbuds do a pretty good job here, and they really let you hear your surroundings, and it does feel transparent when you wear it. Like you can hear things and they don't sound microphony at all. But then you take them off and then you see or you hear that your God-given ears are just a bit better. With the Nothing Air 3 earbuds, things sound very natural, like basically almost how they do with your actual ears. But things just sound a little less loud than normal, almost like something is blocking your ears. Like you put your fingers in your ears, but not too much, just a little bit to block out some noise. And that's kind of how the Nothing Air 3 earbuds sound when you're in transparency mode. So yeah, it's not the best out there, especially today when many of the earbuds have achieved perfect transparency. Plus, they've even started adding extra features to transparency, like the loud sound limiter blocker thingy, which several earbuds have today, but the Nothing earbuds don't. So yeah, long story short, just like with other things, the Nothing Air 3 earbuds are not the absolute best out there, but they're still pretty good when it comes to transparency, and it's still pretty cool that things still sound natural in the transparency mode on ear, even though they're not the most expensive earbuds out there. Now, a category where I'll say the Nothing Air 3 earbuds are better than many expensive flagship earbuds out there, and might even be the absolute best earbuds in the world, well, depending on who you are and how you feel. The category I'm talking about, of course, is build and design. The Nothing Air 3s and the Nothing brand in general has a pretty interesting way of going about design. And that way, it seems, is to make everything see-through and transparent. Almost like there's nothing else to see except the tech itself, you know? Yeah, I actually really like this design, probably mainly because I haven't really seen it before up close and personal. And you can get this exact design, the exact white and silver version I have, but you can also get the Nothing Air 3s in black. Either way, the earbuds look pretty cool, and they actually look like pretty normal earbuds from afar. Like if someone saw you just chilling somewhere and they weren't too close, like they really wouldn't be able to see that your earbuds are transparent at all until you come a little closer. So the transparent thing is actually a bit more of a subtle design choice in reality. But like I said, it looks really nice. But it doesn't just look nice though, it feels nice too. It's built with this transparent plastic type material that almost looks like glass, but it's not glass obviously. It also has this metallic type material on both the earbuds and the case that's silver looking, and yeah, it doesn't feel like glass and metal in your hand, but it just feels well crafted. Long story short, the Nothing Air 3 earbuds are just one of my favorite pair of earbuds to look at. Again, maybe it's because I'm new to the whole transparent design thing, but I really think that these guys are objectively one of the most interestingly built earbuds out right now, especially compared to some of the boring and repetitive competition, design-wise that is. Now, design and the way a pair of earbuds look is important, but it definitely isn't as important as the way a pair of earbuds work. So, just how well do the Nothing Air 3s work as earbuds? And by that I mean, just how well do they fit, feel, and just function in the real world, aka just how seamless is the experience of using these guys? Well, when it comes to seamlessness, the Nothing Air 3s are actually one of the best and most seamless earbuds I've ever used. You put them on and they feel nice and comfortable in your ears. Like they don't feel like some bulky earbuds that start to hurt your ears after a couple of hours. The Nothing Air 3s are pretty minimal and pretty comfortable earbuds, even when laying down on the bed on your side. Now, they're not the most comfortable here, and if you try to actually sleep with them on your side, well, your ears will hurt after a while. But that's the case with even some of the most comfortable earbuds in the world. And so even with this, I'll still put the Nothing Air 3s in that category as well. Now, as far as how well they actually fit in your ears, and if they're gonna fall out if you move too much, well, the fit on the Nothing Air 3s is good, and it'll stay good even when you're moving around a bit, or even a little bit more than a bit. Now, if you try to move around too much though, like if you try working out and doing some intense cardio or some other of those kind of workouts that tend to compromise fit, well, even though they might last a while, sooner or later, you're really gonna have nothing in your ears. And you're gonna have to pick up your Nothing earbuds from the ground. So yeah, long story short, this is what I would say is the weakest part of the experience of using the Nothing Air 3 earbuds when it comes to seamlessness. And it's not that the fit is bad at all whatsoever, it's just that it can't withstand the most intense workouts. Even when it doesn't fall out, you still might have to readjust it in your ears. And if that's really the worst thing I have to say about these guys, they know that that's actually one of the biggest compliments I can pay to the Nothing Air 3s. Truth is, like I said, the Nothing Air 3s are one of the most seamless earbuds I've ever used. Not many earbuds really stay in your ears when you're doing intense cardio anyways, you know? But at the same time, not many earbuds are as responsive as the Nothing Air 3s when they're in your ears. And I mean when doing any and everything, like playing your music, fast forwarding your music, rewinding your music, pausing your music, going into noise canceling mode, turning on transparency, like everything just works as soon as you squeeze, and it just makes the Nothing Air 3s feel very responsive and just seamless, you know? The only minor thing I don't like here is that you can't increase or reduce the volume of whatever you're listening to out of the box like you can with some other earbuds these days. Although you actually can technically do this because you can make this work in a different way using a Nothing X app. And basically this plus the comfort level of things, the pretty good fit, the responsiveness, the customizability with the Nothing X app. Oh, and also the pretty cool sound effects when you're using the earbuds themselves. Yeah, these are all the reasons why I would say the Nothing Ear 3s are one of the most seamless earbuds I've ever tested. Now, even though seamlessness and the way an earbud works and does what it's supposed to do is very, very important, well, these days, basically in 2026, you kind of want your earbuds to do a little more. So let's talk about how much more the Nothing Ear 3s are capable of. And by that, I mean its extra features. The Nothing Ear 3s have a good amount of extra features for mid-range earbuds or even the best of the best flagship earbuds, actually. Now, we've already talked about some of these features, like the in-depth EQ settings and the varying levels of noise canceling and some other things in the Nothing X app, but the Nothing Ear 3s actually have a whole bunch more extra features that we haven't talked about yet. First, they have the automatic play pause feature that a lot of earbuds have, except it actually works pretty decently here and isn't stupid like some other earbuds are with this feature. But still though, I don't really like this feature with any pair of earbuds anymore, so I turn it off for most of my time with the Nothing Ear 3s. Now, a feature I turn on though, well sometimes, is the dual connection feature. This is a great feature that not even some flagship earbuds from the biggest companies have today, and it's actually turned off out of the box with the Nothing Ear 3s, and I'm sure that's because if you want to use this great feature, you're going to have to give up the main extra feature of these earbuds, aka the super mics. So I only use this one when I really need to be connected to two devices at once, and I'm sure I won't need the super mics. But it's still a pretty useful feature though, and I'm always happy to have it. Now, another feature that's useful on the Nothing Ear 3s is the fact that it's water resistant. Although it is just rated at IPX4 though, which means it's prepared to have water splashed at it, but it's not prepared to take a full dip in water and to be submerged. So I guess it's gonna be under some light rain with these guys, and you won't need an umbrella or anything. But you don't want to try and do anything crazy like taking a bath with them or anything, like that would be stupid, you know. Anyways, an extra feature you might not expect though, at least from earbuds at this price, is a feature that you actually only see on the best of the best flagship earbuds in the world these days. In fact, some of them don't even have this feature. And what I'm talking about, if you don't know, is spatial audio. Now, the Nothing Ear 3s currently don't have the head tracking aspect of spatial audio, at least at the time I'm making this video, but it still works really well, especially for mid-range earbuds, and it really does give you that theater movie watching effect with multiple artificial digital speakers. Pretty cool. But with that being said, that's about all the extra features that I think you need to know about with the Nothing Ear 3s. But none of these extra features actually really matter at all though, not when the battery in your earbuds are dead and you can't use them, So just how good is the battery life on these guys? As far as battery life goes on the Nothing Ear 3s, well, things are pretty decent. You can listen to your music non-stop or watch your videos non-stop with noise canceling on and using the super mics here and there for about 5 to 6 hours before you can't anymore and they die. Now, of course, you can always put it back in the case and they charge back pretty fast as well. And after you leave them in the case for not too long, by the time the Nothing earbuds go from 0 to 100%, the case would be at about 70%. So that means with the earbuds and the case combined, you get 3 extra charges from the case for a total of 20 hours of battery life. Now, that's not the absolute best out there, but it is still very, very good. And I don't think anyone's gonna complain about the battery life of the Nothing Ear 3s in the real world, especially considering that it charges really fast with USB-C and it supports wireless charging too. So it's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst, and it's not even average even. It's actually pretty good compared to other earbuds out right now. Now, with that being said, that's about everything you need to know about the Nothing Ear 3s. These guys are pretty seamless earbuds with pretty good specs and a ton of extra features, including the special and unique extra feature being the super microphones, But what do you think about these guys right here? And what do you think about all the features of the 3rd generation Nothing earbuds we talked about in this video? Tell me in the comment section below and leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe if you want to see some more, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.